Good evening. Good evening, everyone. How are you today? I just wanted to come online quickly to record this, mainly because I know that things happen and then I don't get to do what I actually planned to do for the day or the week. So before things get in the way, I just wanted to leave this as one of our members has asked a question which I feel is very important, and there might be a couple of us that is also interested in this. One of the main things that I've found with Montessori and dyslexia is that the Montessori Language Development Curriculum, which is what we call whatever language you're learning, whether it's French, it's English, it's really language development. And the curriculum for the children actually sits very well with helping children with dyslexia. In actual fact, if you have a very good language curriculum, Montessori language curriculum, and you're running it the way you should be running it, what you will find is that if you have a child who's dyslexic in the classroom, you may not even notice. And it may be something that the child will just swiftly go through the program that you have, mainly because it sits well in helping a dyslexic child learn how to read and write properly. The main problems that children may have if they're dyslexic is learning how to spell. They can't decode properly. They mix up the sounds. So basically what the child needs is a very systematic way of teaching them the basic skills that they need step by step. And that's what Montessori does for every single child, regardless of whether they're dyslexic or they're not. That's why you find really that in Montessori settings, children actually do learn how to read and write with little or no problems. It's because everything is taken step by step. Even with the writing, we don't force the children to write, but we prepare their hands for writing. There is a big difference. Somebody asked me that question I think even yesterday I was answering that question, I think on WhatsApp. The person was saying to me that if you say they should do activities rather than giving them a pencil to read and write, does that mean that my child will not learn to write? By the time they're 3 years old, they should be writing. And the person was on and on, going on and on and on about it, mainly because he had been told by somebody that the children should learn how to write as early as possible. But the point is, hey, I don't have a problem with the child even learning how to read and write, or how to write specifically at 3 years old, but you should prepare the hands of the child to write. If you have not prepared the hands of the child to write, if, for example, the child is not if the child cannot feed themselves, does not do anything with their hands, then why are you expecting them to just pick up a pencil and write? That shouldn't be the first thing that we're expecting the children to do. In the same instance, you want a child to learn how to spell, you want a child to learn how to read. Can the child actually hear the sounds? The first thing that Montessori works on is basically the sensorial side of things. So sensorially, we work on sounds, we listen, we ask questions, we play games. Can you hear the k in cat? Can you hear the a in cat? At. Can you hear the t in cat? Help them to hear those sounds. I can spy with my little eye something beginning with t. Can you touch it? Can you find something in the room and touch it that begins with t? And the child will touch table or touch telephone or whatever it is that you've put in the classroom that they can see that starts with those sounds. You work on that. From the time the child is depending, but specifically from 2 years old. They should be working on that. Just hearing the sounds, it's so important. When they can hear the sounds, then they can hear those sounds, they can tell you which one starts with k, which one starts with b, which one starts with z. Then you can now work on showing them this is how we actually write it. These are the ways we write it. Once they can recognize those and read them out as sounds, rather than recognizing the symbols as A, B, C, D, can they recognize them as A, B, K, D? That's what you want. Once they can see the symbol and they know that this one is K, this one is D, then you know that they are ready for beginning to read. And even when they're reading, they're not really reading. What we do is we use the movable alphabet box to help them to spell those words. 3-letter words, 2-letter words. They work on those. They spell them first. And with the alphabets, instead of having to put in another skill of writing, they're struggling to write the letters. No, we don't do that. If what you are concentrating on is the sound, helping them to actually listen, hear the sound, and being able to pick the correct sound. Let them pick the correct sound by just picking out a plastic or wooden alphabet and place it there. Bat or bag. What is the first sound you hear? B. Let them pick the B and put it there. What's the next sound? A. What's the next sound? G, if it's bag, or T, if it's bat. So, and then you place your finger underneath what they put down and you read it out. Bag, bat. That's how we do it, bit by bit. Then you give them strips. You teach them the puzzle sounds, what some people call the puzzle letters, tricky letter, the puzzle words, the tricky words. Those are your sight words, basically. You teach them the first few ones that they need to know so that they can read phrases, they can read short sentences. You talk to them about the capital letter. You do not, please, when there is a systematic way. That's what I'm trying to say. And Montessori helps us to get that systematic way in order so that we can teach the child. What you do is you teach, they've learned how to read your 3-letter words, 2-letter words. You teach them some sight words. They can now read phrases. Then you can now teach them the alphabets because you've taught them to recognize the sounds with the alphabet, this lowercase alphabet, not the uppercase one. So it's later that you now teach them the uppercase, and you tell them what you use the uppercase for, to write their names, the beginning of their names, to start a sentence. And that is when you will now give them sentences. Everything is systematically done. And if the child doesn't get one step, you continue working on that step until when the child gets it, and then you move on. So really, the Montessori method can help a child who is dyslexic to learn how to read and write with little sweat. Unless it's because you know that there are different levels. Obviously, there might be more intervention that is needed, but I am yet to, in my own experience, I am yet to meet a child that this system does not work with. So yes, if you want to know what to do, you need to at least go through the language curriculum so that you know how to help a child who is dyslexic. So hopefully this has helped to answer your question. And I'll see you next time. This is Ayokwe Jifalikulo saying bye.